So we just watched Call Me by Your Name, the last two guys on Earth to ever see this movie. And it was released in 2017 by Luca Guadagnino, and we got a full review coming up right now.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
I'm a OG boy.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my
G boy.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another iPopcorn for that review. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And like I said, we watched Call Me by Your Name. So this might be a movie that most people have already seen. I know it's been out a while. It was very acclaimed. I think it got nominated for a bunch of Oscars and stuff, but we finally got around to seeing it. It was about to leave Netflix, so we had to take our opportunity. This is sort of like a coming-of-age love story between two males of kind of different ages, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe not so different. Maybe not so different that it's like the most scandalous thing ever. But Elio and Oliver. So Elio is the son of this professor living in northern Italy, and Oliver is a grad student that's coming to like stay with the family for 6 weeks or something over the summer to work on some of his papers and research and stuff like that. And yeah, this like blossoming little love connection happens between the student and the son, and you know that sounds like a simple story, but there's a lot to this, I think. But yeah, I don't know. What are some things that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great story, I thought. It's very graphic. And I hadn't heard anything about this until we saw Saltburn, and this kind of led us to this movie. And I think there are some similarities between the two movies. Obviously, this one doesn't have somebody trying to weasel their way into the family or anything, but it's kind of, you know, a bunch of kind of like well-off to do people just kind of laying around in the sun all summer, doing whatever they want to do, reading books, swimming around, developing these relationships with, you know, there's some people from, I think, France and Italy that they've made friends with as well.
Mm-hmm. The family is like a weird amalgamation of a bunch of because
Yeah.
like early on we find out that they're Jewish because we find out Oliver's Jewish. He's wearing a Star of David around his neck, and he's so like that kind of starts their conversation. It's like, oh, I didn't know you were Jewish, and not many people are Jewish around here or whatever. And he's like, he says, oh, I grew up in New England, so I know what it's like to be like a lone Jew or something like that.
Right.
And he's like, well, we're also American and German and French and Italian and Jewish, and like names off like 8 things.
Yeah.
And people are often like switching back and forth between speaking French and English. And I think there's certainly some Italian in there because they're in Italy. Maybe other languages, because sometimes the caption would just say like other languages being spoken. I also kind of wonder if Timothy Chalamet speaks French in real life or if he just learned like his parts.
I saw that he did learn his Italian parts, and he learned to play those classical piano pieces that he did play. But I would imagine he speaks French. I mean, I believe his dad is.
He sounds like.
Well, his dad is from France, I believe. So I would imagine.
Oh,
he
okay.
does, but I don't know.
That would make sense then, yeah. Yeah, and right off the bat, by the way, the music here I thought was like exquisite. Like all the piano music is great.
Yeah.
The music that's played on screen is really good and looks like it's all really being played on screen.
Yeah, they played that one song like 3 times in the movie. I don't know the name of the song. It's like
one of the.
My life. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but yeah, music's great. I'm a huge fan of Stephen Stevens and have been since high school, so I knew he showed up on the soundtrack. But those songs worked really well in with the story, and it's just kind of like a slow burn, kind of poetic, kind of meditative. A lot of this movie is just people chilling out in the summertime, not doing a whole lot of anything, but it doesn't make for a movie that doesn't feel like anything happened. Like, right. I don't know. I thought this was like a really powerful movie that really, like, for me, it just yanked on my heartstrings at the end. Like, I was thinking, like, man, this is kind of like an emotional kind of movie, and then at the end, it's like, you want to feel all the feelings at once, bud? Yeah, I don't know. This is like, yeah, certainly. If you're swayed at all by emotional movies, I would hold on to a box of tissues nearby because this movie takes you there for sure. I think it was handled with like a level of care that you probably wouldn't have seen this kind of movie made with a couple decades ago, because it doesn't feel like all the emphasis is put on like it's gay, it's a gay movie. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's just like
yeah.
a love story movie, and it happens to be about and also I liked the parents. Everything felt so positive generally.
Right.
Like I know people are doing a little bit of sneaking around and stuff, but like generally everybody is so accepting of everything. The parents here are like exemplary, like amazing people. Like I loved the father character.
Yeah, no,
Um,
the dialogue in the movie was fantastic, and it comes from a book,
Yeah.
so I would imagine a lot was taken from that. But
I'm sure.
like the conversations between Timothy Chalamet and his dad towards the end of the movie is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, man. And it just Michael Stuhlbarg in general is great. But it's just funny to see, having seen another Luca Guadagnino movie not that long ago. It's funny how different his role here is versus. Do you even remember him in Bones and All?
Was he one of the ones that they thought were gonna eat them? Like he was one of like the
He-
two
he-
hillbilly guys,
They
right?
like meet the cannibals out in the woods, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's the one that's not the cop. Like he's like, but like
Oh,
such
right.
a drastically different character than this like mild mannered, very smiley, very happy go lucky professor in northern Italy.
Right.
And I love the intro hits you right off the bat with, I thought, like some really cool imagery. I don't know if I'm just a sucker for, it just was like cool design. You see all these photos of these Roman
right.
Roman sculptures that are like have been, that's part of the plot of the movie, but they're like unearthing these ancient Roman sculptures from the depths of the ocean that are
Yeah.
they're just discovering for the first time, and all these pictures of them just pop up, and they're kind of framed in like an artistic way, and there's like yellow chalk just handwritten all the credits and all the names of all the actors. So right off the bat I was like, man, I vibe really well with the aesthetic of this. There's something about the way, I don't know the language well enough to tell you, but there's something about the way this is shot, like maybe the color grading or the something about the cinematography here, and like the way it looks, like the colors are really nice. Like everything's kind of it doesn't look like it's quite, I wouldn't say it looks like it's the 80s, which is when it takes place, but it doesn't look like it's shot in 2016 or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Makes it
kind of like
have
that Wes
older film
Anderson
look.
type thing it's got going
Yeah.
for it. Like
It's
with
like
just
a
that
little
film
bit washed
style of
out.
it, yeah.
hmm But yeah, I really like the look of it. The cinematography was great. There's just a lot of like shot choices that just, they do a lot with just what you're seeing on the screen without words. And
Yeah.
I always appreciate that in a movie, because this is not a particularly wordy movie, and I think when people do speak, it's like a lot of attention was put into what they're gonna say, and they don't just have like filler speak in
Right.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's something about the way the characters act in here that just adds like an authenticity to it. There's just like a quirkiness to everybody. You can't predict what people are gonna do. Like I was kind of having a, not in a bad way at all, but I was having like kind of a hard time figuring out what kind of character Timothy Chalamet's character is at first,
Mm-hmm.
because he's just so. I think part of it is just he's really young and figuring out who he is right now. But he's like, sometimes he's very like, seems very happy-go-lucky and playful and stuff, and then sometimes he seems like overly serious and things weigh really heavily on him. He kind of is playing like multiple roles, but it all makes sense in the terms of like a teenager.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I guess I can make sense of it that way, because there seems like there's a little bit of a back and forth about like, how did these two feel about each other? Like,
Yeah.
does he want Oliver coming on to him? The first time anything happens at all that could have even looked like that, he looks like,
He's kind of like pushes
You
him
know.
off a little bit. It's like, and it was very like innocent kind of thing. He just like rubs his shoulder a little bit, and he's just like, "Why? What are you doing?" But that could also
so
him
at
trying
first-
to like push those feelings away, maybe not wanting to lean into them.
right. I don't know how much more to say about it. That's just not like just heaping praise on it. But
Yeah.
to me, this has earned its place as like one of the best movies of the 21st century. You know, there's
Yeah.
that's a large handful, but this just felt like the a movie of its time that needed to be made when it needed to be made. And
I really liked. So I'm gonna just spoilers.
yeah, spoilers.
When Timothy Chalamet's character Elio has a relationship with this like French girl, Maurizia, I believe is her name, and they sleep together, and she kind of says something to him along the lines of like, "I don't want you to hurt me," and like he's kind of going through that same thing with Oliver, like he's
Yeah.
afraid of getting hurt by Oliver, and like I thought the parallel between those was really good.
Yeah, well, and both of these guys have ladies that are pining for them out there,
Yeah,
and so unfortunately, they do. The girls kind of do get the short end of the stick on this, but you kind of also see that maybe he picks back up his relationship with Marzia after,
right. Well, I think they'd be
After
at
the
least
summer.
become friends.
or maybe just friends. I'm disappointed a little bit because I found out there were plans for a sequel to this.
Oh, really?
that like takes place like years down the road,
Yeah.
where they meet back up or whatever. But the problem is, I don't know if you know, I think you do.
Oh,
but Armie Hammer
Yeah.
did a bad. I'll let you do your own Googling. There's a whole thing to be said there. I don't know, but
Let's just
yeah,
say
we won't be seeing Armie Hammer again anytime soon.
they should have put him in Bones and All.
Yeah, he did a Bones and All of his own.
There was the one scene that we had kind of discussed before we had seen the movie, when you had saw something about Saltburn dethroning this scene, and this scene was
Yeah.
I would say it's on par. I mean,
It's pretty cool. If he had, I guess we're in spoilers now. So if he had eaten the peach, that might have trumped
yeah.
Saltburn.
I mean, there's definitely like references to seminal fluid because I think Armie Hammer like wipes it off of his chest at one point or something, and then but Timothy
Yeah.
Chalamet a peach, and then Armie Hammer comes in and is like
The-
gonna eat it, and
Everything up until then had been so like brushed off as so nonchalant that it's like you can kind of just keep watching the movie and look past it. But the peach thing, you got to
Yeah.
focus on the peach thing for a minute. Yeah, these people seem to have like every fruit growing in their yard. By the way, I don't
Yeah.
know. They just have like pomegranates and peaches and
apricots.
I wanted a glass of apricot juice watching
Yeah,
this movie.
I don't know that I've ever had
that
one.
before.
And now I
Could
want
be
it.
amazing.
It probably is.
Yeah, I need a pint of green apple ice cream for the next time I watch When Evil Lurks, and then I
yeah.
need some apricot juice for the next time I watch this. So, unless you got anything else you want to add, what do you rate this thing?
I'm gonna give it a 9. It was a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
The ending
Yeah,
was pretty emotional, which did it get you?
Oh yeah, and you know what? It's not all that often that I actually like. I got a little lump in my throat watching like the end of toward the end of Godzilla -1. Like, there's some movies that happens to me once in a while, but to actually get a tear out of my eye, you got to work for that. And it's funny because there's only like 3 movies in recent history that come to mind, and 2 of them are freaking Luca Guadagnino. This guy has the keys to my tears.
Maybe it was
Bones
the
and All,
soup.
man. The end of Bones and All, I was upset.
Yeah, that was a heavy one as well. Maybe it was the
But yeah,
Sufjan Stevens in this one.
That doesn't hurt. The guy's got the voice of an angel. Yeah, I'd go even a little higher and say 9.5. Man, this is up there. This is going on the list of my favorites, I think, of all time. So.
Nice.
Yeah, if you're one of the few like us that hadn't seen this before, what are you waiting for? Go watch this. It's about to leave Netflix in like 2 days,
Yeah.
so you should watch it. Or watch something else by Luca Guadagnino, because apparently this guy doesn't do a whole lot of missing. Yeah, if you like this kind of thing, hit like below, share it with your friends, comment below your thoughts on this movie, other Luca Guadagnino, rank Luca Guadagnino movies. I don't care. But talk to us down there below. We'd like to have a conversation with you guys about movies. Hit subscribe over there if you haven't yet. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of this year. We appreciate you watching as always, and we will see you in the next one, guys.
All right, we'll
Thank
see
you.
ya.